I think I may have mentioned that I consider them like 40 karat diamonds. Yeah. Because they're multifaceted, and every time you turn it, every time you come back to this music and you turn it around, you discover something new. And so I spend many months trying to uncover as much substance and beauty. And every single day I sit down, to this day, even after having recorded them, I find something different, something surprising, something new. Hello, Petra, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
It's great to see you again.
It's lovely to see you, and you've been doing such a great project. I'm so excited to speak to you about this.
I am looking forward to sharing my experience with you of this incredible music that has its home and origins in Vienna.
Yes, I know.
As you know.
Beethoven, and I live not so very far from where he wrote his Ninth Symphony.
That is marvelous.
Yeah, so... But yes, how have you been doing? And after the lockdown, because we spoke during lockdown, and many things have happened in the meantime for you. So this is great. You've recorded the Beethoven Sonatas.
The last three.
Yeah.
Only the last three. It is plenty of work for me at this time. I am happy to consider doing more later, but I felt that this music in particular resonates with the times and resonates with people in ways than the others, not as much. This music is about the human condition, and especially about the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. And as you know, Beethoven was deathly ill at the time that he wrote Opus 110. He had terrible illnesses, not just his deafness. He was completely deaf by the time he wrote his music. But he also had some physical ailments. And the composition, the three sonatas were meant to be written as a group and to be dedicated to members of the same family. And he wrote the first one, Opus 109, which is a beautiful, colorful, I like to call it a kaleidoscope of colors. And he dedicated it to the daughter of one of his best friends and supporters, Antonia de Brentano. The Brentano are a family, long-standing Viennese and German family who had origins in Italy in the Middle Ages. And they settled in Germany first and then in Austria. But as you can tell, Brentano is a very Italian name.
Yeah. I was surprised actually when you say that they were here in Austria.
So Opus 109 was written and was born, and then he became ill. And he was in the middle also of writing the Missa Solemnis, which is a monumental work for orchestra and chorus, and one of my favorite Beethoven works as well. So he had pressure to write other music at the same time. And so he put the project of writing the sonatas aside for a while. And then he became ill. And then he survived his illness. And then he finished Opus 110. And then immediately after that, Opus 111, after some hiatus from the other works that he was writing at the time. So it's a little complicated history to this music. But my point is that this music speaks about our times. It is universal in its appeal to humanity and the human condition and the transformative power of art and music, and how our spirit can conquer adversity.
Mm.
And I felt the need to work on this music throughout the pandemic, and it resulted in an offer to record it. So it's
That's
done.
beautiful. Wow. But I want to ask you now, so if you say this specific music speaks to our time, and of course you have, I've known from the past that I've spoken to you, you really go in depth and you really study Beethoven, his life and his music, and I know it was very interesting for me that you say that the more you study it or the more you play the work, then you discover always new things about it.
Right. I think I may have mentioned that I consider them like 40 karat diamonds. Yeah. Because they're multifaceted, and every time you turn it, every time you come back to this music and you turn it around, you discover something new. And so I spend many months trying to uncover as much substance and beauty. And every single day I sit down, to this day, even after having recorded them, I find something different, something surprising, something new. Because music is malleable. Music is something that happens in the moment. And as you play, as you work at your instrument, you're always discovering new aspects of the music you're studying, hopefully, because that's the way your conceived performance will grow. And so there is tremendous opportunity for musical growth when you study this music, which I consider better than human hands can play it. So the result is that the recording is done and it will be released, and it is a picture of where I was at the time.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But nothing more. I am already a transformed musician because of it. And I am already, I think I am playing the music even better because I have discovered other things since. So a recording is a document of where you are at the time and hopefully your best conception of the music for posterity. Many great artists did not like to listen to their own recordings. Some of the greatest, because they know that this was how I felt at the time, how I felt at the moment. And the effort that you put into, recording music of this caliber, especially, is tremendous. It's a lot like making being a director and making a Hollywood film. We know that this project, this art, performing arts project, is going to be documented for posterity. So there's a director, there's a producer, there are all kinds of staff people hired to make a film. And then there are the actors who are the vessels for the art. And they are directed by the director, and the director will exhaust the actor with demands because they have a vision. They have their own vision of the work and attempt to extract the best of the performer, right? So that when all the editing is done, when all the production is finished, the end product is as good as possible. And that's what making a recording is all about.
Are you very critical while you're doing the recording when you listen back? Do you redo?
Extremely, extremely.
Really?
You know that I also teach,
Mm.
and I I can hear the minutest details in my students playing.
Mm.
And so I have developed a very, very critical ear. And obviously, when I hear piano playing, I I feel like I am working, like I am studying the performance
Yeah.
because that's another aspect of my work. So when I did hear myself in the playbacks, I heard some of it. I was at times I was elated. I was very happy with what I heard. And at times I said, this is no, we need to do this again.
Yeah.
You see?
Mm.
So yes, extremely critical. I would like to think of myself as my own worst critic
Yeah.
when I hear myself. That's the only way that we can approach any kind of
Mm.
perfection in our work, which is unattainable.
Yeah.
It is unattainable in music. No one can tell me that a live performance was perfect
Mm.
because the components of a live performance respond to so many factors: the acoustics of the room, the instrument that's being played, the way the performer feels at the time, the relationship the performer maintains with the audience, the communication that is taking place with the audience. It's silent. It's mysterious. You know, we don't know how it works, but it works. So
Well,
there are many factors that contribute to a live performance, and therefore perfection is relative.
mm.
You know, you may play all the notes, no missed notes, no missed rhythms, everything in its right place. But there's always a little crescendo, a little decrescendo, a little tapering off at the end of a slur, of a phrase. The pedal that you use, the amount of pedal that you use, the way you press on the keys, there is always going to be something, if you're a critical musician,
Mm.
that you will find that you could have done differently or better. Always.
But isn't this the beauty of the live performances? Is that you can
Of
go
course.
many times and you will always have it differently. It will not
Of course.
always be.
And
Yeah.
it is very exciting. And it's also a little perilous, a little dangerous,
Yeah.
because we try to make a living
Mm.
out of live performance, and we would like that to be good and to continue so that we can come back and play again.
Mm.
So we take risks, and it is all about how you learn to deal with the risk and how you learn to communicate the message of the music to the best of your ability in the moment.
Mm.
And the same applies to performance art, to other disciplines like dance and the, you know, poetry, recitation, the theater, opera.
Mm.
It's the great challenge of the performing arts.
But now I want to ask you something. Um, if you say that it's impossible to have it perfect, it's not. Nobody can have it 100%. But then we talk also about the composers. I mean, they were also just human, and they just also wrote this music, and of course also played the music. But isn't that the beauty of it, that it is not that perfect, that we also have to think that they were also not perfect, or they also did it not that perfect.
That's all very true. Especially in the case of Beethoven, who was such a stormy and temperamental individual. And he improvised. A great deal of this music was something that he could sit down and make out of nowhere. The beginning of Opus 109 I feel, is an improvisation. I am at the piano. Could I illustrate for you a little bit?
Yes,
I can't get my hands off the music. So the piece, the first sonata begins very much like an improvisation.
Yeah.
Like he is creating something out of nowhere, and he is playing with the germ, the material, the original theme, which is just 2 notes.
Beautiful.
You see, so there's 2 little notes. And that makes up the main theme of the piece. And from there on, he takes us on a journey that is kaleidoscopic in its nature. It's so many colors. I cannot take my hands off the music.
Really?
I could record them again tomorrow. Again,
really?
And it will be different.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But you explained this now, and I could hear it while you explained it. But if you didn't explain it to me, I wouldn't have noticed it, because I'm not studying music. And this is what I love so much about talking to artists, and especially you can explain things so really in a way that it makes you feel this love that you have for the music, and I can 100% feel this how can you say this, the sense that you have for Beethoven's music, that you can really understand it. And this is what I think is so important, that we as an audience, we should know these little things really. And I think I know most people know Beethoven and they know the works and so on, but there are many like me who don't know this, and it's so fascinating to get this from artists, this information, this education almost.
I am very glad to do it. It is, I think that it's part of my nature as a musician to communicate. And it's all here in our minds and hearts. And I have, 40 some years of experience communicating through music, whether I am performing or whether I am teaching and even composing. It's an outlet for expression. And I would imagine that after 40 years, I have acquired a little bit of experience successfully communicating to an audience, either through the music or articulating verbally, my thoughts on the music, because that's what I do when I teach. I spend a great deal of a lesson with the student, talking to them, explaining, this is look, discover this in this page of the piece. This is what's here. And this is what you need to do in order to present it well to your audience. So that's based on experience.
But that's wonderful. It's always so interesting to talk to you, really. Now I want to ask you. You said that this music is relevant to this time. Um, is there something? And I'm talking really now as somebody who does not have a clue. But is there something that the composer communicated to about the music so that you know that this music is relevant, or do you go with your sense and your or what you say, feel the music speaks?
Right. Well, this music is abstract in the sense that there is no script, there is no written clue in Beethoven's case in the German language of what may be happening within the drama of each composition. He just wrote the music, and it is up to our imagination and research and understanding of the composition to determine what circumstances may have inspired the music or any portion of it. For example, in Opus 110, I really feel that in the third movement, the slow, very sad movement, he describes his own moribund state. He felt he was dying at the time. And I think he captured that in this piece. And he did it literally with notes. And not only, I think, he related his state, his physical state, and he documented it, but he also paralleled it, I think, with the passion of the Christ. Because there is a direct quotation in the beginning of this movement where he quotes one of the 7 last words of Jesus at the cross. Is from an aria by Bach, his predecessor. From the Passion according to St. John. And the words for this song, this aria, are, "It is done. It is finished." And it is the most heartbreaking music and very dramatic.
But it's, it is beautiful, but it is
very sad, huh?
Very sad,
So the main theme at the beginning of what I just played is a direct quotation of Bach's melody. And, later on in the same page, he dies.
Really?
He ends, life as in a sort of a metaphorical way, ends, and then comes rebirth in the fugue. A new beginning, a new music. And then he dies again. And it is literally depicted in the music, how he gets softer and softer, and the phrases get shorter and shorter. And you can even hear that he is giving his last breath.
Mm.
In the music. With sound, he was able to do this. And then comes another rebirth. And this time, the second time the fugue comes around, he rises to a triumphant apotheosis to end the sonata. So, in my opinion, I think this is the personification of a resurrection of sorts. And it ends brilliantly and happily. I wish I would play it, but you can listen to it on a recording of your choice. It is just the most incredible music.
Well, I would love to hear your recording. When will this be available?
So would I. I haven't heard it yet. It's still in the process of being edited and produced. It's a very long and complex process. I will be listening to edits and making decisions as to how it will be put together.
Oh yeah.
And the release date tentatively is March of 2022.
Oh, okay.
So
in spring, in the spring.
In the just before spring starts.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh, you
and
have
just
to
before
let me know.
Just before my birthday.
Oh, okay. When is your birthday?
So the 29th of March.
Oh, 29th. Okay. Oh, this will be a great birthday present for you when that gets released before your birthday.
It will be a happy day because I worked very hard for it.
Yeah.
But, I tell you this with great excitement. But I can also tell you that I am already working on a new project.
Yeah? What are you doing?
So I actually had begun working on two recording projects simultaneously. And this project is closer to my, I would just put it this way because I cannot mention what it is about. It is too early. But I felt it was important for me to get a little closer to my ethnic roots.
Yeah.
Where my family name comes from. And as you probably know, it's from southern France.
Yeah, I realized that, yeah.
And well, course,
I thought France, but I didn't know southern France, but yeah, France.
Yes, the Teissonnière family comes from Montpellier.
Yeah.
Which is near the Mediterranean. And it's a wonderful city for music, actually. They have a wonderful opera house there. And I have many relatives that I don't know. Then the family emigrated to America, as you know, and they wanted to live in a warmer climate and in a culture that was closer to their European culture than the continental United States. So they settled in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is, the tropical island in the Antilles, which has a very unique relationship with the United States. We are born United States citizens, but our culture is more European.
Oh, I see.
As it is most of Latin America and South America.
But your name Gerardo is not
it's pronounced French. Gerardo in Spanish.
Gerardo.
Gerardo. It's Spanish.
Yeah.
Gerardo in Spanish. It's also Gerardo in Italian.
Yeah.
And would you believe that the origin of the name is German?
Really?
Gerhard.
Gerhard. Yeah.
That is the origin of the name. It means warrior, man of the spear, man of the sword.
Yeah.
And it was, attributed to someone who fought for everything that was good and was a warrior of sorts. And so it has that origin in Germany, and then it traveled all over Europe. It went to Britain, and it became Gerald.
Yeah. And to South Africa, in South Africa, it's Gerard.
Really?
Yes.
Well, there you go. I learned something new today.
Yeah, yeah.
And in France, it's Gerard.
Yeah.
As you know.
So your project is then, the next project is then related to France, shall we say?
I think so.
Okay.
I
will have to talk to you again about this project, because I would love to know what you are doing.
Well, I still need to finish the first one. The first one is still in production, and I'm going to New York in a few weeks to have my photo taken for the album. And I am already playing the program. I'm playing the Beethoven program this Friday in Cleveland.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's great.
It was a concert that I feel particularly excited about, because it was the concert that began my celebration of the 250th anniversary of Beethoven in early 2020, which obviously I could not do because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So finally, in 2021, I get to play the program for a live audience.
Amazing. Oh, that's wonderful. But you are coming to Vienna as well with your program.
I am. Finally, I can tell you, July 21st of 2022.
Really? That would be great. I would love to meet you when you come. This would be so wonderful.
We will have dinner. We will have schnitzel.
Oh, wonderful.
Or Sachertorte, or my favorite, Käsekuchen.
Käsekuchen. Well, yeah, we can have that. That's wonderful. Yeah. Oh, that would be great. But I want to I'll ask you something else now. When you did your recording, and I watched all these pictures that you did, posted on Facebook, you played on the Steinway, and you had a Steinway engineer there, or what do you call them?
Maintained.
Maintenance.
Repaired, maintained. Yes.
Yeah, and why did that have to happen? That they took out basically the note part. I don't know how you describe it, but I saw the whole thing came. Yeah.
Right. Well, when you record piano music, and you are playing on hopefully a great instrument, a concert instrument, there has to be a technician around to make sure that, if you break a string, for example, which did not happen, or a particular note is brighter than another, then the hammers need to be worked on. So the technician would often remove the keyboard with all the keys and work inside the piano to maintain the evenness of the sound and the evenness of the attack. So we would have, for example, you could play a scale of notes, one after the other. You want a beautiful, even sound for each note, so that no one note comes glaringly outside of the continuity of the sound.
Mm.
So those are things that happen, and the piano will go out of tune. The piano, you start playing an instrument and it starts going out of tune because it can only take so much. And Beethoven requires tremendous physical strength.
Yeah.
So we are repeating passages. We are working for 10, 12 hours a day, pounding on that instrument.
Oh, yeah.
And the technician has to make sure that it will sound good all through the session.
Amazing. And that's Steinway, and that is something that they provide. Is that a part of when you play a Steinway piano?
It's part of the contract.
Okay,
And,
because you're a Steinway artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's completely different. Completely different aspect of the of the contract. A technician has to be on hand to maintain the instrument, and in this case, I happen to have been very lucky to work in one of the best recording studios in the country, which comes together with one of the most beautiful Steinways I have ever played, and the technician.
Oh, okay.
So he is always there. He is trusted by the label and the studio and the engineer and the producers, and he's engaged to do this.
But
so I was very lucky. I had a wonderful technician, one of the best in the country, who is very knowledgeable about Steinway pianos.
Okay.
So Steinway is, as you know, my preferred instrument. It is the instrument in which I feel most comfortable playing. The range of colors, the range of articulations, and the range of expression is something that I have felt comfortable with since I began to play the instrument.
Really?
And that's the instrument that I grew up as a student with.
Really? Yeah. And I heard also that there are many pianos that you can start off with, because I thought to myself, well, if it's that, these very expensive pianos, what about young musicians who start off? And apparently Steinway has that they start off with pianos where young students can start off playing.
Well, yes, the Steinway brand has more affordable instruments with a different name that they offer. Yes, I have a Steinway, and that is the most coveted and expensive of the lines.
Really?
And the original one, it began as a single name, a single brand, Steinway and Sons. But then they felt they wanted to reach out to younger students and, make instruments of the highest quality that were affordable. So there is the Boston. The Boston piano is made by Steinway to Steinway specifications. They have the Essex as well, they have smaller instruments, and it is even more affordable.
That's amazing that it's available, that it's thought about, that everybody should have the possibility to play on a good quality instrument, I think.
You have to be lucky to be able to afford one of these instruments.
Yeah, I'm sure. Gerardo, can I ask you something about your dogs? They are beautiful. They're not tiny, but they're beautiful. What breed are they?
I have two beautiful Siberian husky.
The Siberian Husky. Okay, yeah.
It's a 3,000-year-old breed.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest, and they are among the kind of dogs that are most closely related to the gray wolf.
Mm. Oh, okay.
And they are brothers, and they're always by me, especially, as they have been through this pandemic. I have them nearby.
Yeah.
And they're a constant source of joy
Mm.
and laughter
Really.
and love.
Mm.
I absolutely adore them.
Well, you take very interesting pictures with them, of them.
You should follow them. They have their own social media empire.
Really? Okay, I will definitely. Yeah. But what do they do when you play piano? Because I know these dogs tend to howl.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. Well, Koda likes to sit in front of the piano
Yeah.
and watch me with curiosity.
Okay.
And his brother Mika, sometimes I have to put him in the bedroom and shut the door behind him because he will howl.
Oh, okay.
And he will interrupt my playing,
Yeah.
because I cannot hear myself. He howls so loudly.
Really. Mm.
He must be very, very sensitive to the music, or he feels that I am singing, or he feels that I am doing something wrong.
Oh,
So I have to ask him to be quiet sometimes.
Maybe he was a singer in his previous life.
Yes, they do not bark.
Oh, they don't.
For the most part, no. They only bark when it's a bit of an emergency.
Okay.
They're very vocal.
Oh, I see.
So as you said before, they do howl. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but that is so cute. No, I really enjoy the pictures you post of them. They look like real characters.
I haven't made the arrangements for today, but hopefully next time we meet, I will introduce you to them. You will be able to see them.
Yes, please do. I spoke to Scott Goodart yesterday, and he has a little French bulldog named Rosie. And the first time I did the interview with him, Rosie joined us. And so this time I asked if Rosie could join us again, and she did. She did. She she did do the interview with us. So yes, your dogs are very much welcome. We have to speak to them too.
Well, next time we meet, I will make sure that they are available.
Definitely, yeah, that would be great. But next time we speak to this new project about that you are doing, I'm very inquisitive now to know what it is all about, so we can have another talk. Yeah.
And I'm very much excited, to be able to go to Europe next year. I already have concerts planned in Germany, France, and Austria, and Italy.
Oh, okay. So you're going to make a whole tour.
Yes, I will be doing that after the recording is released.
Oh, but Gerardo, that would be great. And that was something that you wanted to do when I spoke to you and during the lockdown. We were talking about hopefully you could come, but by then the theaters were still not open.
It was just too difficult and complicated and risky. And Beethoven will always be there.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And I will be playing better.
Oh.
So well, I am looking forward to playing for my Viennese audiences. I played in Vienna for the first time in 2018, about 4 years ago already. Amazing. And I loved it because I played Schubert. I played Schubert. I played Mozart, and I played Albéniz, and I played Debussy. I played music from my roots, and music of your roots, of
Yeah.
for the Viennese people. And I like to do that.
Mm.
If I go to Poland, I will play Chopin.
Okay.
If I go to Spain, I will play Albeniz and Falla. If I go to South America, I will play Ginastera.
Mm.
And,
Amazing. Mm.
you know,
Yeah, it's a way of communicating also with the people, isn't it? If you play it that way, that
and
it's
it's
something
very,
of
very,
theirs that you
very
can.
much appreciated. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, Gerardo, then I'll see you in Rio in next year, but we'll speak again soon. You let me know, and then we'll speak about your next project.
It'll be my pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Gerardo. Have a lovely afternoon.
You have a wonderful evening, Petra.
Thank you very much.
A great wish for health and prosperity to all. I have many friends in Vienna, and you are one of them. And I wish them all the best.
Thank you very much, and the same to you.